himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Nuhoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn, so there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support.
Good morning, good afternoon, and wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining us here today. I am James Parfitt. I'm alongside Edward Hunter here for the Old Guys Racing League Coffee Cup morning, round 1 from Spa. We have got 10 minutes of qualifying coming up. We've got a heat 1 of 10 minutes and then a feature race of 40. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are here, like, subscribe, turn on the bells, and do all that other fancy jazz that you can do on the YouTube as well for free, of course. So there we go. It's worth it there. But let's bring Edward into the booth. Edward, hello. How are you, sir?
Oh, hey James. I'm very excited. Appropriate enough, I just had a cup of coffee myself, although I'm sure what these guys are going to be competing for will be much more satisfying than what I've just had. But anyway, qualifying here at Spa-Francorchamps, just getting underway, and very, very classic circuit here, of course, used for Grand Prix racing and endurance racing as well, many other series, and it's going to be great to see these GT3 cars put through their paces here in the Old Guy Sim Racing League. So very, very exciting to get underway.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's going to be one of the interesting things here as well. I think overall, whenever you come in and when we're starting up a new season with these guys here, we've got 12 rounds. We're going to the Red Bull Ring, Monza, Mugello, Silverstone, Daytona International Road Course, of course. Mount Panorama, then we've got Road America, Watkins Glen, Tyre, Mosport. And then the Nürburgring Gem Strecker 24-hour layout. That's going to be, well, it's basically the Nordschleife General. So that's going to be a really exciting one to hear as well. But Spa, this is where I think sometimes when we come to Spa, and we come here quite a lot, and a lot of series are in Spa, you know, it gets to a point where you love the circuit, but you've been here so often, and you're just sitting back going, come on, let's go. We're at Spa, let's race. Let's get the overtakes down on the Kemmel Straight into Lacombe. Let's get it on the run down to Blanchemont. Let's not torpedo anybody at the bus stop. That's the thing, isn't it, with Spa? There's so many things that over a period of time you get to learn. And one of them is, please be sensible, because otherwise it can go horribly wrong here.
Yep, I'm getting flashbacks to one of the last races I commentated on at Spa, which I believe was a race in which there was a 15-car pile-up at the top of Rouge and Radion with a bunch of young drivers because somebody who qualified up in the top 5 blew their engine on the run up the hill, which was most unfortunate because it was like a long hold for the start lights essentially. But yeah, we shouldn't get any of those antics here, especially not in the Old Guy Sim Racing League where these guys are pretty sensible. But like you say, there are those trouble moments. Last source being such a tight hairpin as well, being the first corner, you inevitably get someone that has to go wide or has to avoid hitting the back of the person in front of them. And then, like you say, it's top of Kemmel Straight where they max out on the speed limiter, and then you've got Pujon, another very, very fast corner, and a lot of event corners where basically you've got to make a split-second decision to essentially whether you're going to make an overtake or hang back, and that's really what you're going to see come the race. But come qualifying, this is going to be interesting because we're going to see who's done what on the setup and which of these GT3 cars is going to be the one to have over a single lap. It may not necessarily be the one you want in the race that's got the highest top speed, but it might be pretty nippy through the corners.
Yeah, that's the thing, is you've got to work on as cars go, and we know, within the influx of new cars within iRacing, obviously iRacing and racing sort of systematic that if a new one comes out, we generally would have it within iRacing, obviously with the new Porsche, the new Ferrari, we've now got the new Audi as well. And I think there's still some of the old guard in there. The Mercedes, the BMWs are still here as well. The Mercedes, we know, can get very loose on the rear end if you overbrake, trail brake going into a corner. The BMW, well, he reminds me of the Milky Way advert when I was a kid. The red car and the blue car had a race. All the red wanted to do was stuff his face. The BMW can eat the curbs for days. And that's the thing. It's a great curb runner, is the BMW, and it's ideal for certain people to drive, especially myself. I want to take a lot of curbs, unfortunately. But I think that's the thing. Every car will do everything different. The Porsche, it's the normal thing. The Porsche will do Porsche things. And that could be that for 10 laps, will do the same thing. And then on lap 11, the Porsche will chew you up, spit you out, and spit you out. And you're like, hold on. I didn't do anything different. And that's where they're saying the Porsche does Porsche things, because it can be very unpredictable.
Yes, it can be, but for the more skilled drivers, they can definitely get the lap time out of it. And we are seeing the first group of times coming through. Currently, it looks like Roy has gone fastest from Hamby on a 2:17.7. That's pretty good opening time in these GT3 cars, but I'm certain there's more time to find here. David Van Roy off to a good start though.
Yeah, exactly, and we're on board with Steve Hamilton in Audi as well. He's got a time of 2:18.693, all the way down to 2:23 with Jonathan Williams here as well. They have got lone qualifying, so we'll keep an eye on the times on the bottom. You can tell, obviously, if they're green, they're doing their overall fastest sectors. If they're purple, they're doing the fastest sector overall. If they're yellow, or depending what colour you're seeing, orange, it is unfortunately slower than their previous best. That's what the colours mean at the bottom. And if you have any issues, have any questions, just post them in the Discord, and we will answer your questions for you. So there we go. We're still waiting for half the field to get points on the board. Michael Dione here as well. He's in the BMW. We've got the likes of Scott Carlson. He's got the Ferrari. Anthony Carbone Jr. in the BMW. Daniel Sco on the Mercedes. We've got a lot of car brands, a lot of mixtures, and that can only be good for a series. It's not dominated by one car series.
Oh, certainly not, and it's always great to see a bit of variety. People going on it's essentially picking a different strategy for the championship, essentially, which car you go for, because that dictates not only the setup you go for, but how you drive the car. Particularly at some of the end of these races, keeping the tyres alive is going to be quite an important factor in some of these battles, of course. We did see the sort of pre-season warm-up race. I believe it was the Road America a few weeks back, and I think it was Jason Elliott that won that from David Van Roy in the final there. And so certainly David Van Roy is on a pretty decent streak of form at the moment, if that was anything to go by. As we look at one of the BMWs just coming through, is that Adam Lang going 6th fastest on a 2:19. So he's certainly shot up the leaderboard there.
Parker Hamilton up into 3rd as well. He's got a 2:18.
That's probably more notable.
Yeah, has jumped into 3rd place as well on a 2:18.219. David Van Roy on a 2:17.716 in that BMW as well. There's a lot more jumpers. Rick Modric has just gone into 12th on a 2:19.744. Now this is going to be an one because I know they were discussing the pronunciation of Sean's name here as well but a little bit earlier on. Sean Basterach, I believe. Spelling, but I'm not entirely sure, and I'm sure there will be other ways of. We'll go with that one, and hopefully that will work as he pulls over here as well. John Uyalet in 11th there, and Skylar Sixton in currently 23rd. All of these guys are down the back end of the order currently at the moment. We've got 1:44 on the clock. Not many people are going to make it round, of course, with a 2-minute lap. They're not all going to make it round onto their final count. Scott Carlson at the moment hasn't got any time on the board. He's on his way, I believe, on at the moment there as well. So there's a lot of people who are not getting times on the board. They're not getting bankers, and that banker lap is so important when you're doing a race like this.
Exactly. Not only does it give you a little bit of confidence, so you know exactly where I can push a little bit more on the next round, but also it means when you have to do it all in one lap, you put an awful lot of pressure on yourself, and that's often when the mistakes can creep in. And it's not the end of the world if you don't qualify necessarily on the front row here at Spa, because like we said, there are overtaking opportunities that you can exploit with some crafty driving. But it does put you a bit on the back foot, and when you know you've got a group of cars ahead of you that you're much faster than, you know you're going to be losing time in the first couple of laps of the race as you try and negotiate them all, and also just keep out of trouble.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. They've got that 10-minute sprint, and it's not very long. They're barely going to get 5 laps in. They're probably get at most 4 in here as well, and then we'll go into a 5-minute warm, and then we'll do 14 race. The sprint race will earn half of the feature race. So the sprint race is 30 for the win, and 29 and 28, and then all the way down to 31st where they 0 points. The feature is 60, 58, 56, 54, and so on. So it goes down in 2s, and that will be again down in 31st place there as well. We are at the end of qualifying now as well, so we will bring you up the grid for this race. David Van Roy is the man on pole position with Johnny Hamby in second, Jacob Elliott in third, then Steve Parker Hamilton in fourth, Michael Dion in fifth, Justin Lack, Bradley Lovings in seventh, then Kevin Adrian in eighth, Adam Lang in ninth, Pete Cruz in 10th, Bill Backer in 11th, John Uller down in 12th place. On from that one, David Scow in 13th, Rick Modric 14th, Eric Genzel in 15th, Brian Dudkowski, Bill Bastarash in 17th, Michael Chaplin 18th, Alan Person 19th, Scott Carlson. And then we got Jesus Gonzalez in 21st, Skylar Sixton in 2nd, James Sawyer in 21st, and Heath Ollinger in 24th. On from that, we got John Williams in 25th, and then Ulrich Eisenberg in 26th, Anthony Carboni in 27th, Justin Scott 28th, Cole Modric 29th, Clark Wolf in 30th, Jonathan Diggs in 31st, and then Corriveau Jr. 32nd, Robert Hadley in 33rd, Jason Stick in 34th, and Ryan Hubb in 35th place. If you're wondering, guys, why we are seeing a lot of American flags, it's an American League Ensis Coffee Cup morning is early in the morning for these guys. 9 a.m. currently over 5 hours back, so it's 10 a.m. by now. But that is why there as well. But we do have the Germans and Europeans here, so I'm sure it should be a very eventful race here. What's going to be the most important things for you guys to determine here, Edward? What do they got to do over the first few laps?
Priority one, stay out of trouble. If you're Roy, for instance, you're definitely going to want to try and build as big a gap as possible. But of course, this is the heat. It's going to determine the grid order for the final, essentially. So it's not necessarily the end of the world if you don't start the final on the front row, as we said. But certainly you want to start things off and make a good impression here in this championship. And there are going to be a couple of points, I believe, for the heat, although I didn't get a chance to check the point system for it. I'm pretty sure it's not quite as many points as you get for the final.
It's half. 6.
That's right, yeah.
There we go. So get ready for this one, guys. Hold on to your hats. We are coming to the bus stop chicane now before we get underway. He pulls everybody up, does David Bemroy. He doesn't allow anybody to get away. We're going to be going over the line. The lights are going to be coming on. And the opening round of round one of the Coffee Cup season, and we are green, going down into the source. We're going 3 wide into the source as well. Johnny Hamby takes the inside line there. We've got lost out at the moment. That was a Porsche Jacob Elliott who's got up the inside and has taken the lead as we go up through El Rouge and Radion now. This is going to be the point here. Are they all going to survive as they head on to the Camel Straight there, Edward?
Yeah, that was a great getaway from Jason Elliott. Just called the launch perfectly when they went to green flag, got up the inside and completely caught everyone kind of napping there. And we see Michael Dion has also managed to sneak his way up to second position in all of that. So that did not go, I think, how David Van Roy probably imagined it, as we see someone going very wide at the top of Lake Coombe and a crash.
Adrian there and Bell. Unfortunately, coming together there. Bill Backer has made incident. He's down 2 at the moment. Bradley Lovings, it looks like he may have got a slowdown there on that one as he's over on the left-hand side. As these guys heading quick barrage down into the lane currently at the moment. So Bradley Lovings there is just waiting. Off on the slowdown he goes, and away he goes. We've got the 2 BMWs of Dion and David Van Roy as they're battling it out now. Here on lap 1, they've not got long, mind you, as they're going from Pouron down into Fagnier under the Allianz Bridge. Now you can see Van Roy sticking his nose out there anyway, giving him a bit of a scare, he's giving him a bit of a fright, and he's just letting him know he's still there.
Exactly, like you say, with the relatively short distance, is David Van Roy going to try and do a dive bomb, a kamikaze move, or do you think maybe more likely just to hold station for now, wait for a better opportunity, or potentially just tuck in and just wait for the feature race to make his move?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't really see the point of him trying to dive bomb somebody. Could end up going from 3rd right way down to the back of the order.
Yeah, Johnny Hamby's right there, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem, isn't it? You know, when you've only got a 1.1 second split at the moment across the field, and the gap alone is 1.29 seconds down into 15. It's one simple mistake. You're going to be all the way down there, and there is just no point. There is something. Oh! Oh! That was a Porsche JPBroadcasting. There we go. So get ready for this one, guys. Hold on to your hats. We are coming to the bus stop chicane now before we get underway. He pulls everybody up, does David Bemroy. He doesn't allow anybody to get away. We're going to be going 1.1 seconds quick at the moment across the field, and the gap alone is 1.29 seconds down into 15. It's 1 simple mistake. You're going to be all the way down there, and there is just no point. There is something. Oh!
Oh dear. Everyone's got Blanchimont completely wrong there. And Modric, Chihak, I think Gainzel was just negotiating the traffic there as well, but that was absolute chaos, James.
Yeah, I think Gonzalez may have...
Oh, he turned in on him.
Did he get attacked? That's a question from Gonzalez. And there as well. He does get the door closed.
The 33 he made contact with there.
Yeah, then he hold your brakes, hold your brakes. Oh, he didn't hold them.
That could have been a little bit cleaner, James, in my opinion.
That's the thing, it could have been cleaner there, buddy. All you had to do was just hold the brakes. Hold them in the BMW, don't run them.
That's not the racing driver's instinct, though. You want to get back into the race as soon as possible.
Yeah, but
unfortunately, Gonzalez may be a misjudgment there.
He may have got that a little bit wrong for Gonzalez there as well, because at the end of the day, he doesn't want to be not holding his brakes when it comes to the fact that coming into traffic at a fast corner, and the last thing you want to do is let that car run right back out. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's very interesting words or conversations about that here as well. Dion, Van Roy, Hamby, all closing up. Stephen Parker Hamilton is driving around all on his own at the moment as well. He's got 1.1 seconds to the guys in front, 1.5 to the guys in back. And Justin Laxton and Adam Lang, they're scrubbing it out as well. Great action taking place. Not an ideal scenario for some. Others will probably...
Master Ash in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, isn't it? Oh, he's gone round as well. Oh, dearie me.
Oh, there's multiple cars involved there. And this looks like... this looks like Piff Paff, isn't it?
Yeah, depending on what you call it. I do find out with Spa, it's got multiple names for multiple corners. And it does depend on which track map you're looking at, by the way. Or whatever it is. Oh, that's... That car.
I think Purser was involved in that as well. Here he is, he's coming in, and he just understeers off.
Where did Master Action end up getting involved with all of that? That's going to be the question. It's not very far apart, so I'm quite surprised that Master Action involved, to be blatantly honest, there as well. But we've still got the racing going on. Adrian got up the side of the Ferrari of Scott Carlson there as well. We've still got the free car break of Elliot, Dion and Roy. They've slowly got Hamby now coming in behind him. Elliot's getting a bit of a break. He's got about a second up the road at the moment.
Yeah, Jason Elliott is just managing the gap really well in that Porsche at the moment. With 4.5 minutes left to go. He doesn't need to do anything too dramatic to break away. He can just allow Michael Dion to really do his job for him and hold these two drivers that qualified ahead of him behind him on the road, and that's going to set him up incredibly well for the final, as well as bank himself a healthy 60 points, of course.
I think in the opening start, he's got to get points on the board, and 30 in feature. They're going to get 90 altogether for the double header there as well. Hamby and Van Roy and Dion. Van Roy's not giving up. He wants he plays back 2 positions lost at the beginning here. It looks like James Sawyer has also had a bit of a dramatic moment inside of the circuit. Bill Backer and Heath Ollinger with Jonathan Bill Bratton battling away down into first as well. You can see that battle there on your screen as we've got the 2 Porsches and the Ferrari into the mix here as well. As these guys are going off now and battling their way on this run. Round pull and they go on their way down into...
Yeah, great to see some clean racing all through the field, despite some of the incidents we've seen in this heat. But Jonathan Diggs doing a good defensive job ahead of Ollinger and Backer, who of course is recovering from a couple of incidents earlier. Love the teeth on the livery of Ollinger's Porsche just behind. It looks very, very menacing indeed. Like Jonathan Diggs is about to be eaten here if he's not careful.
Yeah, he definitely is going to try and tuck in, but he has got Bill Backer right behind him as well at the moment. Backer here closing in. We're alongside. We've seen this not work previously. Are they going to be able to take the second part of Blanchimont side by side? They do. And that Ferrari, I might also like to add, it's got no front end bumper. A bumper you can find on the under item number 1, 2, 3. Never there as somebody just picked it up at Spa, as you can see. He's got no bump on the Ferrari bumpers. Absolute treat. It looks like Carboni and Williams and Koch have also been here as well. There's a Carboni. What have you been up to? Bus stop, I believe. Oh. Well, it's too
That was just
soon.
unfortunate.
Yeah,
He got completely caught out by the closing speed there.
yeah, he just went in too deep, and unfortunately overcooked it himself. It looks like Sia have also had contact as well. Now this is where the draft's going to kick in here. That dip for the Ferrari, has he pulled out? Has Bakker pulled out a little bit too early? I wouldn't have gone that early, but Bakker looks like he's going to make it work. The Porsche's got some gruff down it, but isn't going to be enough to hold on going into the Coombe at the moment. Two cars battling it out. The Porsche's got to send it in deep if he wants to hold it. He doesn't hold it there. And Bakker in the Ferrari goes for a stellar move there. And Bakker moves himself out to the eight. But Jacob Elliott out in front by 2.5 seconds here with Michael Dion, Ben Roy and Hamby trying to close him down. It looks like Elliott's on a bit of a Sunday drive on a Sunday morning.
It does, of course, look that way, but I think the reason the gap's growing is because Michael Dion, as I sort of implied, is sort of doing his job for him by a couple of little mistakes, but unfortunately David Van Rooij not quite able to take advantage just yet. But look how wide Dion is running as he goes through Paul Frere corner there, and that gives him a good exit, of course, but that doesn't sort of back David Van Rooij into Johnny Hamby.
Yeah, a little bit menacing. The Lego machine Porsche there as well. Love yourself a little bit of Lego.
I've got plenty of Lego racing cars on my desk here, but anyway, that's besides the point of this panel going on. We've got a real racing car. I say real, virtual real racing car up for grabs here. But yeah, none of this bothering Jacob Elliott. He just extends that gap yet further then as we go into the final 30 seconds of the race.
Final lap for these guys now as well. The clock, the timer will run down. Don't forget, well, we haven't got enough time to complete the lap. Will be the final lap, and they have not got 30 seconds. Circuit, not even an F1 car managed in 30 seconds here as well. Van Rooij has got to use last possible scenario. This is it. He's got this run of Blanchimont. But Van Rooij now in the BMW, chasing down Dion in the BMW as well. Is Dion going to cover off the inside? He's not. He's left the door open here. Now Van Rooij's got the option. There he goes. He pulls out. Is he going to be able to do it? No, he doesn't be able to do it. The BMW's very similar on pace there. And I think that's the problem. He's got two cars over pace. It's very difficult to overtake.
Yeah, and Michael Dion very much aware as well from the previous couple of laps he spent holding off David Van Rooij, exactly where he's weak relative to him and where the car is going to be able to essentially save him down the end of the Kemmel Straight there. So there wasn't really a chance for David Van Rooij to dive one up the inside without potentially risking Johnny Hamby and Stephen Parker Hamilton getting through as well. So David Van Rooij looks like he might have to settle for third here.
Now, I think that's the thing. He tries to make anything try and gain extra point because it is only 1 point. Is it really worth risking it for a biscuit? You know what I mean? Go double right hand out where now they're going to let it run out a little bit over to the curb. Now we're on to the full speed gas. This run here. Can they manage to hold on to this? Can he get through? I don't think it's close enough. I don't think it's close enough at 1.5 tenths, but they have got to be there to be able to make this one down into the bus stop. And Almighty sends it from so far back. He's got a better run through the second half of Blanchimont. Is he going to be able to make it through? It looks like he's almost thinking about it, but he does settle in there, and it's going to be Jacob Elliott who's going to take the victory in race 1 here. And a great job from him. Takes the opening round. It's going to be a straight run down to the line, but it is Dion over Van Rooij, over Hamby, and over Parker Hamilton there as well. Great opening race for these guys as well. Not long enough, has it? Round. Oh, because they just managed to get 5 laps in here. But a great opening way of doing it, allowing this to set.
Indeed, and it looks like, sadly for Uwe, he's lost a load of places on this final lap. He was just outside the top 10. Now he's dropped to 17th, sadly, behind Eisenberg. So something went wrong there.
Down into Porsche. Porsche. Big Porsche.
Oh. Just got too far on the curb, I think.
Wonderful world of the Porsche. Look at it and terminate. Waiting for the last few. I'm over here. Yeah, it's just Boyer come over. Alan Purser's another one at the back end. Right in the course. Please come. Purser, there's a right at the back. Modric. Purple here. Long way back at the moment. Little bit of time to it. But there we go. The opening race of the Coffee Cup morning is completed. Yeah, it was a good race. I liked it. Elliott jumped from the start, gave places, took it right into the source, made it put on the inside there as well. Edward, so good for him. He knows now that he's got to start pole on the feet.
Yeah, that was really the critical moment, that start, where he just positioned the car beautifully and caught David Van Roy, Johnny Hamby and Michael Dion completely off guard by just outfoxing them, essentially. He got to the inside first, and there was, once he got inside a last source, there was nothing they could do about it. Not even the straight line speed of the BMWs could really make an impact on him, because he just built enough of a buffer and let Michael Dion do the rest, essentially, by holding the rest of the pack up.
Here are the results of one. Jacob Elliott is your winner with Michael Dion in second, David Van Roy in Johnny Hamby fourth, Steve Parker Hamilton in Justin Laxton in sixth with Adam Lane in seventh, eighth, David Scoot in ninth, Rick Modric 10th with Bradley Lovins in 11th, Brian Dubkowski 12th, Michael Chaplin in 13th, Kevin A. Awesome. Eisenberg. John Ouellette had that last lap spin, got down in 17th. Bill Backer, who battled his way up in 18th. Got 19th. Carboni Jr. in 20th. Jonathan Williams 21st. Jonathan Diggs in 22nd. Heath Hollinger in 1st. In 23rd. Cliff Correview 24th. Brian Huff 25th. Eric and 26th. Jason Yak in 27th. James Robert Hadley in 29th, Alan Purser down in 30th. Then we've got Jesus Gonzalez in 31st, Cole Modric, Bill Bastarash 33rd, Skylar Sixton in 34th, and then Clark Wolf. We are in a brief little warm-up. Now, what we will tell you about the feature race as well. For the feature race, there were points granted to the driver who has the fastest. 1 point will be granted to everyone finishes on the lead lap. So potentially, the way you read the rules, you get 64 points from winning the feature race if you get the fastest lap and the extra point.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you are Jacob Elliott, that's going to look like a very, very tempting prospect indeed right now. But you have also got to make sure you don't accidentally push too hard going for fastest lap and end up, when the tyres are too worn, spinning out or something like that. So they always put those little tasty bonus points up for grabs, but you've got to make sure that you're in a position where you can grab them and actually without blowing a bigger stack of points. Like, you don't want to lose all your points for the win in pursuit of the fastest lap, for instance. Not that that usually happens, of course.
No, you gotta take the. I mean, but in a way, if you take the win in the race, you gain them extra points here. There's no fuel restrictions here as well, so these cars can go about 55 minutes, touching on an hour mark. So I think shouldn't have pit stops here this afternoon. So I think pit stops here, and they should be able to get to the end of the race. So very, very, very surprised they end up having to pit here, Edward. Thanks to some of these.
Yeah, 40 minutes is about the length of a GT3, slightly shorter actually than the length of a GT3 stint around Spa you'd normally expect. So the fuel can certainly last. It will come down to, you might see one or two people who get into incidents coming into the pits, certainly. But I doubt we're going to see any scheduled tyre pit stops. That shouldn't be too big a fact. It should all happen out on track rather than in the pit lane, which is exactly the way we like it here in the OGRL Racing League.
Yeah, exactly. to get the entrance into pit lane right. I think the problem is that pit lane is obviously off basically the entrance off the side of the bus stop. So if you're too wide and the guy on the inside is trying to get to the pit lane, well, luck, I suppose, going into the second part, because the car's going to be on the inside of him as well. So it's going to be very difficult for that outside person to make it into the pit lane as well. So to make sure he is hitting in button and telling everybody they are going into the pits. Because the last thing you really want to do is miss your pit box because you can't get into the pits because you're too wide with somebody going through the final chicane.
Exactly, we've seen several instances in real life, in fact, of it going very, very wrong. I think I remember the old pit lane at Spa used to be even worse because it would just sort of, instead of doing the final chicane, you go straight on, and you'd often see, if there was a wet race, someone would just not see the person in front of them and just pile into the back of them. And we've seen, even with the chicane, like you say, it's difficult to sort of, if you're on the inside, to sort of back out of a move and then get back to the outside so you can go in the pit entry. With that narrow wall as well, you'd be surprised how many people struggle with that wall, especially in other games. I think in iRacing it's not quite so bad as it is in R-Factor, for instance.
Oh, dude, it's still horrendous. I hit the wall many times. Going in, bounced it off and then damaged the steering on the way in. So that's not an ideal way of doing that. I've come to for the feet. Well, so pole position. Elliott down alongside David Venroy in third, Johnny Hamby in fourth, Stephen Parker Hamilton, Justin Laxton in fifth, Adam Lang seventh, eighth, David Rick Mildred 10th, Bradley Lovins in 11th, and Brian Dudkowski in 12th place. Then on from that, Michael Chaplin in 13th, Kevin Adrian, Scott Carlson in 15th, Ulrich Eisenberg 16th, John Ouellette in 17th, Phil Backer 18th, Justin Cock in 19th, Anthony Carboni in 12th, Jonathan Williams, that's Jonathan Diggs in 22nd, Bollinger in 23rd, Cliff Correview Jr. in 24th, Ryan Huff 25th, Eric Gainsell in 26th, we think that's how it said, Jason Siak in 27th, James Sawyer 28th, Robert Hadley 29th, Alan Person 30th, Jesus Gonzalez 31st, Cole Modric 32nd, Master Ash down at the back in 33rd, with Skylar 64th, Clark Wolford, entirely sure will take start here once more. Get this up and running. 40 minutes here. Edward, it's a different kettle of fish to a sprint race, right? So you can take it a little bit more easier than you did last time.
Yeah, hopefully people will be a little bit more restrained on the first lap in the midfield than we saw in the heat. But I think no promises, really. I think it's certainly going to be action-packed either way. You're right, there's certainly going to be people pacing themselves, keeping the tyres alive just that little bit longer, and there'll be maybe a few less desperate moves, potentially a few less people running with the front bumpers ripped off, hopefully, as well. But Jacob Elliott, this is going to be really interesting. We saw him make that monster start in the heat. Can he do it again here, or will somebody else on that side of the group be able to get the inside before he can? So he'll need to make sure he's not caught out here.
He is right side of the circuit for, well...
that happened in the heat as well, didn't it? The inside's so much shorter from the bus stop.
Yeah, so he's backing them all up. He's bolted already. He's gone there as well. Jacob Elliott is out in front. He's away with Dion in second. Venroy trying to go up the inside of Dion there as well. Hamby's going to have contact with another Porsche behind him. I think that may have been Laxton behind. Makes contact there as well. Does everybody else know the answer to that one? As they all come to a sudden stop there as well. But they all seem to have gone away cleanly. They're all running in the right direction, which is great to see. And up through Camel, and now we've got Venroy, Dion, and Elliott. The same three we had with Hamby behind in that Lego Porsche there as well. Elliott, great start for Elliott. Did what he needed to do and got away.
Yes, and crucial for David Venroy to get himself up into second, and rather than being stuck behind Michael Dion like he was for the entire heat there. So the number 4, it's now really a straight fight for the next 39 minutes between himself and Jacob Elliott. So that could be a very, very good fight for the overall win and the maximum points here.
Absolutely. That's the thing. Venroy on a now look. He's now 1 point, of course, over Elliott, but that's nothing looking at it early on. I think more worried about that probably after about round 6 where we're at. It looks like Robert Hadley may have had a little bit of a note here as well. Hadley there on the it's going to be who the Audi was. I think that was Henry Cole. Was it Audi or Lamborghini? Cole Moderate. Still not holding your brakes there, sir, as well. I probably might be but lucky you're at the back, but otherwise that could be worse. And holding the brakes is so important, isn't it? In an accident.
Yeah, really unfortunate there for both drivers, but yes, Cole Modric in another incident there. And yeah, when you find yourself facing the wrong way, you really need to make sure that you hold the brakes and prevent the incident from getting worse before you try and escape out of it. But racing drivers, the instinct is to get back into the race as soon as possible, and sometimes that doesn't serve them well. As we look at this is interesting. Hamby under attack from Cruz in the Audi as they go into bus stop.
Line, you think you got to get past Hamby. He does. There's a spinner there as well. Purcell and Sawyer, that was Adrian Lang facing in one direction. BMW going to sit there, wait, have mad patience at the moment as well as he's dropping all the way down the order. Ulrich looks like he's been off at the side of the circuit. He's come back on. Dix looks like he's had an incident. I want to find out what's happened to Purcell and Sawyer here as well. Oh, he's on the outside. Going into the Blanchard. He goes round. Unfortunately, two of them together. Purcell there just goes round with him. Sawyer goes up as well. From Purcell's point of view, though, that probably hit the brakes a bit too hard to try to avoid this. Oh,
yeah, certainly, and it's always a panic when you see a car spun in front of you because you've got to react very, very quickly, especially at a high-speed circuit like Spa, where you come in to some of these corners very, very quickly. Some of them are a little bit blind corners, essentially, so you get there and then suddenly you realise there's an incident immediately in front of you. But look at this battle then, as the lapped car that's clearly got into an incident and has lost a lot of time lets the leaders through. And David Van Roy now just half a second behind Jacob Elliott, and definitely trying to put as much pressure on him as he can.
Yeah, I'm trying to find what happened to Gonzalez there as well. He's had a little bit of a tap out. Oh, or somebody there. Moment, Loving there was in. Got Parker Hamilton and Skoo in front of him. Guys in the Mercedes, the Audi and the Porsche respectively. Into Vanier now, the double right-hander before they go right, then they're going to go left. We go on board here but Lovings, Parker Hamilton's on our outside. You've got to give him a little bit of room. You can't squeeze, not holding in the juicer there, buddy. Got to give him a little bit of room to let him through. And there, Parker Hamilton goes through over Lovings, and now they've got Carboni right behind him as well. Michael Tino battling away. He's got De La Cruz behind him here as De La Cruz in Audi as well. Great action. You've got to give the room. You've got to give the space. He was on the outside. You lighten up a little bit, and he's got that Carl's whip on the outside.
Yeah, it was very aggressive from Bradley Lovings. Oh, big spin in the background there. Is that Sko that's got into trouble?
Yeah, Sko's going to grab Blanchard at Mercedes. Hey, no, not do that. In the area there. Dropped all the way down the field in 8. It's for him. Lovings is still here with Parker Hamilton and Carboni Jr. Then further down we've got Diggs, who's got Dukowski, Bastarash and Olet behind him. Bastarash is up to a great job from him in that BMW. You know, don't often get BMW kind of strong field, but Roy, Dio, Carboni, Adrian and now Bastarash all putting that BMW gaining places. I wonder if the BMW's a little bit
Yeah, it can certainly travel over the curve a lot better than, say, standard Porsches, as you mentioned earlier. I think on the side of Sko's car it said that from hero to zero, I think it said, which is a little bit unfortunate on the side of that Mercedes. But here comes, this must be Bastarash then, trying to make a move on Dudkowski, and he's got Diggs ahead of him as well. Diggs going around the outside of Dudkowski, and Dudkowski in real trouble there, and going off track at the top of Lake Earn.
Fortunately, Dukowski has gone around there as well. Oh!
Hamby being hit by Cruz.
Whoa, we caught that late on there as well, as De La Cruz looks like he did get round through on Hamby. And then he's going to overcook it there going in. Unfortunately, that is what happened. Oh, Hamby gave him a little bit of a nudge and straightened him back out, so he'll be up.
Hamby corrected him, if anything.
Yeah, I know. He helped him there straighten up, didn't he? As Anthony Carboni Jr. with Lovings and Parker Hamilton battle their way through Fagnier, the double left-hander. You can carry a lot of speed through here. Then as you go down into Paul Ferrer, the double right here is going to run him out once more. And the BMW of Carboni sitting in menacingly at the moment. Edward is just waiting for these guys to battle there as well.
Yeah, certainly. But Bradley Lovings, we saw making progress in the heat, and he's continued to do that so far. But here comes Carboni. Like you say, the 33 has been waiting patiently, looking up the inside into Blanchimont, and Stephen Parker Hamilton. Oh, and he crashes into Bradley Lovings at Blanchimont. So another spectacular accident, and unfortunately, that's not worked out for either of them.
It hasn't. Lovings on the outside there. The BMW squeezes him, gives him no room, and unfortunately that is the consequences for Loving. Unfortunately, and Carboni Jr. Whoa, Carboni Jr. car is done. Look at the steering. Literally having to rotate it 90 degrees. I think that's a give up there, son. I would jump back to the pits, and he has done here. Buster Ash and Diggs now getting involved in them at the 14th and 13th. Buster Ash now up 18 places there. A stellar job from him. Jamie in YouTube chat, Jesus Maker's really quiet. I hope that is better for you now. I have upped the level there. I've got a funny feeling the Windows update may have had something to do with that, unfortunately, as these two are going side by side up through El Rouge and oh no, the free wide, don't do that. Oh,
that was ambition and a half from Bastarash, but he had to go completely off track there, and that's allowed Scoo through, and I think Uyue was involved in that as well.
Yeah, that was Huff, who is going to be going off at La Source in that Mountain Dew. Runs a little bit wide there, unfortunately. That Modric has obviously done himself no favours in the Lamborghini, fortunately there. But yeah, not an ideal manoeuvre from some of these guys as Modric goes round on that one. But yeah, that's kind of racing. I wouldn't say rubbing is racing. I would probably say more that, was it a move that was on? Was free wide a good idea? Questions will have to be asked.
Was just worried about running into the back of them more than anything. But yeah, it was certainly ambitious. As Roy in trouble.
Oh no! Oh dear, blimey, governor. Well, whoever that was has come round the corner.
He was in a bad position there, is the only thing I would say. He was on the inside there, coming into Paul Frere. So here we go. This is just going to be painful. Losing the back end is so easy to do in that BMW.
Yeah, but he's the thing is,
slowly tapped the wall.
Yeah, for me, he's off the side of the circuit. You know,
he is, yeah.
That Audi come through, I believe that was Parker Hamilton. Really could have sat back and been like, "Whoa, dude, what is that?" You know what I mean? Because from Bastarash's point of view, off the side of the circuit, so he really should stay there. You know, not trying to do a 180.
Ben Roy, right?
Ben Roy, sorry, yeah. So Ben Roy, look. Oh. No.
Yeah, and it was that eagerness to get back into the race as soon as possible, and that really could have gotten him into much more trouble. We were very lucky we didn't see that turn into a plane crash there, but this is great news, of course, for Jacob Elliott, because it means his main rival is several places further back now.
Yes, we've still got Hamby and Dela Cruz. Obviously, we know guys have had contact. Hamby's just straightening up Dela Cruz after his incident. Come down in, boom. Hamby there, going through the left-hander now, then in Marmody, the right-hander dropping down into Ravage before he goes on. No name and into Pouon there. Some great action taking place. There is a back marker, I believe, in front of us currently at the moment. So that back marker of Hadley will need to remove himself from the equation. He's trying to get through No Name as quickly as possible. Move over, dear sir. Either go to the right or lift and go to the left. Don't expect to see a team battle there, as these guys do come on the inside. Hadley does make Hadley does make a concerted effort to get out of the way, so fair play to him. The interesting thing for me, Bill Backer in his Ferrari is up 9 places at the moment. He's managing to hold of his car all in one piece at the moment here, Edward, and he's doing a great job.
Indeed he is. We saw he had that pace even with the front bumper disappeared in an incident in the heat, but yeah, certainly staying out of trouble has done wonders for him while those ahead have hit trouble. And yeah, he's of course got David Van Rooij not far behind him as well, so Bakker might have a little bit of trouble holding on to this 9th place if he can't clear Adrian sharpish. But certainly great to see that Ferrari up there. He's certainly the top Ferrari runner in this race, of course, which not necessarily the favoured car of choice in this field, but he's certainly making it work for him.
Doing a great job. Then we've got Bastorash. Sko, both of the others. For Sko has been off the side of the circuit. He's got no front end ever. So unfortunately that was this very corner on the run down through Blanchimont up in the barriers there. Bastorash is going to try and close down on him. Got to make that move sooner rather than later here, I think, as well, Edward, because he doesn't want to get held up behind a damaged car.
Yeah, but the problem is that he's already been stuck behind Sku for quite a few laps in this race now. We've only got, I say only 27 minutes left. There's still quite a lot of time, but it can disappear quite quickly. And the more comfortable Sko gets, the harder it's going to be for Bastorash to make progress here. So he's really got to set him up for an overtake potentially. Maybe using the speed of the BMW down the straights and mounting the curbs, as we see the Audi get very loose at the top of Radion and onto the Kemmel Straight they go. This could be a good run for Bastorash.
Side by side as they're coming down in. Now Bastorash there as well as he goes through Sku lady with half a front end there. So Bastorash does make movements at the top. Bruises in the wall. Unfortunately, they're facing the wall on his way out of Rivage. Does he overcook it? Audi, that's going to be the problem. He goes in. Audi's right loose already, and unfortunately does hit the wall. Which way is he going to go? Forward. Okay, that would have been one way. You could have gone back as well, but at least you're off the racing line there for Delacour. A great job from him. But Bakker once more now in a mix. He's got Van Rooij. Oh! That's Hadley behind. Hadley's off the side of the circuit behind him there as well, and that could have been very, very dangerous once more as Hadley in that Ferrari takes a very wide line through Pouon. Probably not best to come back on over the bumps into the wall, comes into the middle of the track. Hold your brakes, sit and wait. No! Oh!
He decided to go back to the pits then. That was just horrible situation for Hadley. He was trying to get off track at Pouon to let people through, and like you say, the rejoin was a little bit unstable for him. As we look at Bakker well and truly in this fight then with Adrian, who is defending in that Porsche as they go into bus stop, and that is really, it's BMW, not a Porsche, sorry. But yeah, Bill Bakker definitely biding his time, and also sort of having to defend himself from David Van Rooij, who seems very fired up to get back into the top 8 here.
He's going up the inside now as well, Van Rooij. That's going to be him alongside Bakker. That's going to run through La Source down into El Rouge and Radion. He did make it through Van Rooij in that BMW. Then we've got Bakker behind in the Ferrari. Bakker's got the ideal line in here in hindsight, because he has got the draft to play with up through El Rouge, over the hill at Radion. Now we're on the Camel. Who's going to be able to get this, Van Rooij or Bakker? Bakker's got pace for days in that Ferrari. Can he make Van Rooij here? Can he get past him? He's got to look at the draft. He should be expecting to pull out going into Lacombe. He doesn't pull out there. Stays behind Van Rooij, but is that a mistake or is it not a mistake from Bakker? Because Van Rooij's quick, so I don't really want to give him, because he'll take a mile out of it.
I think he probably would have made a move if he didn't have Adrian sort of holding both of them up, because that's effectively creating a wall where there's a lot less space for Bill Bakker to play with at the end of the Kemmel Straight there. So I think Bakker was just deciding maybe my fight's not really going to be with David Van Rooij, and I've got to let him get through and then follow him through when he picks off Adrian in a lap's time or so.
Back of Adrian by. And what's going to be the best way? What's going to be do you defend, let him go and follow, though? That's the problem. Is that 50-50, what's going to be airing on the best side of Allah? Do you defend like a trooper for the next 24 minutes over the next, they're going to have probably 10, 11 laps? Or do you let him go through, try and follow, and try and maybe pick up on some of his lines? a tough decision, because I think when you're motor racing, you are motor racing. It's not, oh, I've got a fast guy behind me, I need to roll over and let him go through and get me big belly tickled on the way in. You know what I mean? You've got to put up a fight, right? You're driving a motor car. You're driving in a race. You've got to put up a fight.
That's true, but also you'll just end up losing way more time if you get into a battle that you have no chance of winning. And up the inside goes David Van Roy, already showing his intentions into the bus stop, but having to back out there. And the problem is that Kevin Adrian's getting a little bit of slipstream from Modric in front of him, but that doesn't seem to have stopped David Van Roy, who's going to go around the outside then of Kevin Adrian, going into Lassau's hairpin, and Adrian has to slot in behind once again.
Still got Elliott out in front here as well on his down the Kemmel Straight in that Porsche. He's done a job. Then we've got Michael Dion behind in the BMW, that well-lighted BMW. We know it from the dashboard. We've all understand what it is. Then we've got Hamby behind that. Parker Hamilton is a long way back in that Audi from that group, 8.9 seconds over Hamby. See, we've got Porsches going here as well. Modric, Van Roy, Adrian and Bakker. That's Porsche, BMW and a Ferrari on the back end as these guys are scrapping it out for 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th at the moment here as well. Great action all the way through. 22 minutes on the clock here. It looks like Corriver Jr. has had an incident. Adam Lang has also had a crash. He's had to jump directly back to the pits. Eisenberg as well looks like he's had a moment. So let's have a look at Adrian Lang in MW. What did he do? Oh, that's going to be a curb. That's never a good idea. Come from one and go into another, and unfortunately that is what's going to happen there for you. Corriver Jr. in MW thing here. Did he? Oh, he goes into, gets it all a little bit wrong, and now that back end comes round. What about Ulrich Eisenberg? What did he do? Oh, he's got him way too hot there. Boy, he manages to make it through. Whoever that back. Whoa!
That was Lang, who we just saw spin. He was trying to avoid it and spun himself, so a little bit unlucky for Ulrich there.
Oh, Dela Cruz, go. Dela Cruz first, and then Sko after in the Mercedes. Oh, that back end's coming around. Oh!
Oh!
Ouch!
Second big crash for Sko in this race, unfortunately for him.
Yeah.
From 0 to 0 indeed.
The Mercedes there goes round. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. That is the end result of that one. Sko's Mercedes is done. The wheels pointing up in the air is finished here as well. I think it's going to be done for the day. Van Roy now over the back of Modric. Guys heading up into La Source, the right-hander. 20 minutes left on the clock here. Seen a lot of incidents, a lot of action, and a lot of crashes that could they have been avoided? That's the question, isn't it?
The problem is when once Sko was around, they were immediately upon him at Pouhon. That's the worst place to really be stationary, facing the wrong way on the track really here at Spa. Or one of the worst places, definitely, as we see Modric being sized up by David Van Roy, who slices to the inside. And surely there's not much that Modric can really do to hold him at bay here. I think David Van Roy is going to be a big challenge to try and get back up into 4th place here. And Modric there has to be settled back down into 6th. And so Stephen Parker Hamilton and Laxton now will start to be looking in their mirrors. Rather than battling each other, they might both find themselves in the closing stages holding off Van Roy.
Laxton 2 seconds. Parker Hamilton about another 8 attempts up the road. So Van Roy's trying to get away from Modric, trying to get away from Bakker, he's trying to get away from Adrian. Brian Dudkowski.
So got Adrian.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Adrian's got Bakker in front of him. Bakker's got past him here. He's now getting past, trying to get past on Modric. Bakker has showing flashes that he's got pace in that Ferrari. But if he do what he did in race 1 without a bumper, should be able to do well, shouldn't he? With the bumper in this one, he should be able to at least hold on to a top 8, top 5 position, surely.
Yeah, I think it's what I said earlier. He's trying to follow David Van Roy through. Remember, Van Roy was our pole sitter in the heat. So he's very, very quick round here. I think Bakker knows that if he can just watch David Van Roy do it and then replicate it himself, that he'll get a pretty decent result here. I think if he had tried to fight David Van Roy, then he would have just dropped off the pack, and the best he could do in maybe 8th or 9th. Here, he might have a chance at like a 6th or 7th here.
Kowski close, well, really close to Ollinger. In fact, as they come through Paul Ferrer, now the run down into Blanchimont, like a Porsche mid-pack with Lovings, Ollinger, Dukowski and Ouellette all in the Porsches. They are spread out a little bit, mind you, but these two must be teammates, judging by the fact that one's green and got team, one's red that got here for Dudkowski and Ollinger there. So I would probably put them into the same team.
Yeah, presumably both at Midwest then, and Dudkowski up the inside of Ollinger into bus stop, gets it stopped in time, and that was a very, very clean move indeed. Ollinger really didn't see that one coming at all.
Ollinger here as well. His Carolina, Dudkowski, West of America. We got Modric under attack from Bakker. Now Bakker's going to be looking at the inside into Lacombe. Is he going to be able to get the job done here? It looks like he is. And then for Bakker, he is through. What about Michael Dion? Well, Dion has got Hamby right behind him there. And I'm surprised if Dion made a mistake at some point to allow Hamby to close the gap right up, because he did have, I'm sure it was a couple of seconds over Hamby before this point.
Yeah, Hamby been sort of closing on him bit by bit. I wonder if Johnny Hamby has just been keeping his tyres alive for these closing stages, and maybe Michael Dion pushed a little bit early to try and keep Elliott and Van Roy in sight. And maybe that could end up... But yeah, look at those last couple of laps. A couple of attempts quicker in favour of Hamby. So that Lego car looking to build another step on the podium here. And Michael Dion, we know he got defensive in the heat. He's going to have to do it again once more to hold on to another second place finish.
Him like a bit of a movable object as going there. He is well up on his defending. He held back Van Roy in race 1. Now he's got Hamby coming out in race 2. Can he hold on once more? You can see gaps. Hamby has pulled out literally 1.4 seconds, give or take, here over the last 5 laps, from lap 5 all the way through to 9. What's he going to do over 10? Is he going to be quicker again? It looks like Hadley's had another incident on the right-hand side there going into the pits. Dion has come through, 220. Hamby with another 4 tenths out of him as well. So Dion is definitely under the cosh at the moment here, but how long can he hold on from Michael Dion? That's going to be the question.
Exactly, and also keep your eyes peeled for the Park Hamilton-Laxton Roy fight, because David Van Roy now 1.6 seconds behind Laxton. And so Laxton, it's sort of a situation of he needs to clear Parker Hamilton pronto before David Van Roy is upon him, because once Van Roy arrives, he's going to make short work of them surely in these last 16 minutes.
Right there, 1.5 seconds on that one. I just... What is happening? Laxton, Roy, and also Parker Hamilton. Well, he's closing, but I don't think he's going to be closing enough. Adrian, however, is side by side with Modric. He's just gone up the inside as Adrian into Lacombe. A job done for him in that BMW. He'll be setting after Bakker here. But for Parker Hamilton and Laxton, as you say, from Laxton's point of view, he's got to get through. He's just lost another 3 steps over Van Roy, and it's going to be very difficult for him at the moment. That's Parker Hamilton, Laxton's lap times. Let's have a look at Laxton and Van Roy, and he's put 8 tenths over the last lap, 7 tenths over the lap before. Second, nearly 1.3, so he's got 2.8 seconds over the last 5 laps. That's Van Roy, and he's now within that second gap. It's going to be very difficult for these. Hold on.
Yeah, I wonder if that Audi of Parker Hamilton's got decent straight line speed, because for the last pretty much the entire race, Laxton's not really been able to make an impression at the end of the Kemmel Straight into Lacombe, so he might have to get creative here if he wants to get through, and unfortunately he's got a ticking clock in the form of David Van Roy that's just getting inexorably closer and closer, so lots of pressure on Laxton here.
See the sector times at the bottom there, sector 1, sector 2 and sector Parker Hamilton and Van Roy. Laxton quicker than Parker Hamilton, Van Roy's quicker than both of them across the board at the moment in sector 4. Roy's quicker again than Laxton. It's going to be a three-way fight coming for the last 14 minutes. Wow. Going to keep an eye on this one, because this could just go off in a big way. What we don't want Is it ending in an accident for them?
Certainly not, although I'm sure Backer might... he's probably hoping all three of them spin off in front of him, because that would be a easy P4 for him. But as we see, looks like an unexpected pit stop for Carlson down in 12th, and that is going to compromise him, so clearly something's happened there.
Him and Chaplin. Have a look at that one. Probably on the run down the camel of Van Roy. The Porsche Laxton. Porsche's getting the draft from the Audi in front of Parker Hamilton.
He's getting a double slipstream as well.
Yeah, but he's not making enough of a progress. That's the problem there. The Audi and the Porsche straight line speed. BMW behind them. That double slipstream, as you say, that double draft here. Laxton's taking the inside. Allowed Van Roy to go through. Yeah, I don't know about that. I wouldn't have rolled over like that and let him go through. Let's see what happens. Chaplin and Carlson. Yeah, Chaplin there. Behind it. Eye on that one. Amazing. There wasn't any. Fortunately. Carlson, it'll have to go in. It's there. But Michael Dione is still got Hamby right behind him. Hamby's not giving Dione an ounce of break here. Trying his absolute hardest for Hamby to try and get through.
Yeah, it's a difficult job to put one over on Michael Dione, but Johnny Hamby, full credit to him, has absolutely thrown the kitchen sink at him. Unfortunately, even the kitchen sink may not be enough, as we see Seahack also going into the pits as well. So clearly a couple of drivers are maybe just running out of tyres at this very, very late phase of the race and think it's worth putting a fresh set on, or perhaps they're a little bit too damaged and the steering is just a little bit too bent and they need to go in for repairs as Dion actually goes way too deep into bus stop and makes a mistake. So clearly the tyres wearing round the outside goes Johnny Hamby into second.
Johnny Hamby gets done over Dion, Van Roy and Hamilton there side by side. Van Roy does go round the outside. Hamilton not put up much of a fight. Van Roy in the fourth, but that does leave Parker Hamilton and Maxton to resume their battles. Backer's got Adrian closing in, them guys in the background here, and currently they're still fighting it out as well. They're in 7th and 8th. Backer up 11, Adrian up 6, Bastarash up 20 places. So a stellar job from him, but Dione and Hamby now on their run down into the Camel, the BMW there of Dione on the left-hand side. Hamby in that very noticeable liveried Lego machine. Up through Lacombe they go, and still Hamby holding on there, but Dione right behind him. But again, I don't think this is a battle that's completed as we're coming into the last 10.
Yeah, Michael Dione's got some great straight line speed in that BMW, but Johnny Hamby, after waiting patiently for the mistake to happen, finally Michael Dione broke a little bit too late into the bus stop chicane, and now Johnny Hamby needs to build the biggest Lego wall he can to keep his rival behind him. And let's see, only 10 minutes to go. It could be very close between the pair.
But it looks a little bit of time through that midsection. Got back out to 7 attempts at the moment. What's happening with Bastarash? Well, there's Modric right in front of us. We're on our way down left hand. That's not going to help there. Bastarash's point of view, watching the American and Modric blink away in front of him. There's a Ferrari in the background. That's Chaplin. He's got Lovings closing him down as well. There's still a couple of battles that we'll keep an eye on as we're coming in. Final 10. They're probably going to have about 4 laps on the clock as the leader is coming down in bus stop. But for Lovins, just cleared Chaplin there as well. So Lovins does go through. That allows him to try and get onto the faster Modric battle. But again, that's going to be very difficult as well in the last 10 minutes. Dione is there still with Hamby, but he's not making much progress after him here as well. Edward got 4 attempts, not a lot of laps left.
Indeed, he needs to really set Johnny Hamby up here in order to get revenge and get back into second position. But yeah, that was an unconventional move from Bradley Lovings there on the exit of Pujon to get past Chaplin. And the Bastarash, Modric, I have to say, has been slow. I think he doesn't really have great straight line speed because everyone seems to be breezing past him on the Camel Straight in that Porsche. So he's really just struggling to hold on to a place in the top 10 here. But he may have to get very, very defensive to keep Bastrash, as you say, getting 23 positions so far in this race. It's just been a monster on track today.
Parker Hamilton get through. However, he's taken it probably from 32 minutes to it. Hamilton coming back at him as well. You can see the draft closing, and Parker Hamilton sends it on the brakes. He's later on the brakes in the Audi going into Lacombe. Laxton's got nowhere to go. It's nose to tail. Laxton does make it through in that Audi, and boy, oh boy, he had to be late on the brakes there, Edward, and he definitely was.
Yeah, certainly, and this is great news for Backer, because as long as these two fight, he might have a chance of getting into 5th place and profiting from if the contact gets more physical. But somebody spins in the background. That's one of the lap cars getting it wrong at Malmedy.
It looks like Hadley's had a bit of a rough and not one that I think probably want to do again. Do we say? Comes out and goes round. He parks it on the side and stays there. So for him, he's done a great job of holding it there. But Laxton now all over the back of Parker Hamilton again here, still scrapping it out for that final 4th and 5th and 6th place currently as well. So it's going to be tough for Laxton. He's passed him once. Surely he can pass.
You would think so, yeah. But you can sense Laxton getting a little bit frustrated here with Stephen Parker Hamilton. The longer he gets stuck behind, but he's getting very, very close then as they go into Blanchimont. This is so high speed. You need to really judge it well here. Going into bus stop, and Stephen Parker Hamilton is surely going to go right to the inside, but he doesn't get there quickly enough. Laxton's got the line, and into bus stop, he goes in ahead.
Yeah, he does. Laxton went in quite hot. That jeopardised his exit going into the bus stop, but he's managed to make it out the other side. A-OK there as Backer's gone into the pits. I'm starting to wonder with this pit situation whether or not the people, because of the open fuel setup and because of the situation with obviously no fuel regulations, whether or not they've just not got enough. And I think that's the thing. Purser's just cleared Williams there. Backer's going down the order now. He's down in 12th. We got Laxton and Parker Hamilton still going at each other. Now it's all about what Parker Hamilton's speed's going to be in that Audi going down that back straight. Is he going to be able to get through once more like he did already? As they're coming towards us, you see Parker Hamilton with a green line on his Audi behind him. The thinner line on the front of the Porsche. He's not going to get there this time. Laxton manages to hold on here, and it's still holding on to that 5th place. Parker Hamilton not getting through at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely crucial now for Justin Laxton to just pull away in that clear air. Because Parker Hamilton, like I said, straight line speed is the real strength for that Audi. So now that he's cleared him, he should be able to avoid what we saw a few laps ago, where Parker Hamilton just breezed past us. Oh, Adrian completely gets it wrong in the background at a no-name corner and taps the wall.
Adrian, unfortunately, does go round in the background. Slight little tap. Should be okay to carry on in the BMW, but let's see how bad it was. Major probably brake at that point. Brake lights are on. Slight tap into the wall. Should be able to keep going. Does his steering? Okay, it looks okay. It looks okay. So hopefully for Adrian, who's still nestled in 7th place, he has got Bastarash 0.7 behind. Jonathan Williams is still behind Alan Parsons. They have just swapped places. Of course, we just saw that on the broadcast, and Williams now in that Mercedes with Purser in front of him. Then you've got Modric, who's got Lovings closing up at him as well as we're going into the final 4 minutes, probably about another 3 laps, judging by the fact that Elliott did cross the line well before the 4-minute marker dropped there. There's still some great action. A couple of battles to finish off this Lovings-Modric battle being one of them.
Yep, exactly. So Bastarash is cleared Modric, and now it's Bradley Loving's turn to give him some trouble with his turquoise Porsche. But Modric, of course, having lost so many places in this race, despite fighting on, he's still done a really solid job just to not make any major mistakes. But clearly his raw pace just isn't really there in that car at the present moment. And you can sense Bradley Loving's very, very keen to take advantage of that. Oh, carrying so much speed, getting a little bit wide out of last horse as well. Especially with Bastarash starting to close on Adrian after that mistake, there's potentially a 7th place up for grabs that these four are going to contest with one another. So Bradley Lovings absolutely wants to be a part of that battle, and looks like he's going to go around the outside then as they go down the Camel Straight.
He did. He carried a lot more speed up through El Rouge and Radion did Lovins. I wouldn't be surprised. Going to be through coming into Lacombe. It looks like the job's already done, and he has got it done there. Rick Modric unfortunately loses another place to Lovings. However, for Modric, he's in exactly the same place where he was when he started this race. He started in 10th and he's still 10th. So there we go. He's probably, apart from him and Elliott and maybe Anthony Carboni, they're only one of 3 drivers who had not lost or gained any positions here. So great job technically for Modric, but not ideal that he couldn't hang on to the gains that he did have a little bit earlier on. This is all teetering out now. Unfortunately, there are gaps starting to appear. One of the gaps that is still going is Parker Hamilton over Laxton. He's just getting it down into a second. But let's pick up on Jacob Elliott, as he makes his way through the traffic. Elliott doing a great job. Again, Sunday morning drive for the American. He's just potted on. He can drink his coffee on the way round, can give the missus a tap on the head as he's cruising around in his Porsche.
Yeah, it's been... You'd be forgiven for thinking a very, very sedate, relaxed drive for the Illinois native. But yeah, Jacob Elliott has just absolutely controlled this race. Really, despite not qualifying that well for the heat, was able to get up the inside and then get in exact the position he wanted to be. Let David Van Roy spin out, pushing too hard to keep up with him. And then Dion and Hamby squabble with each other, and he's just had the front completely to himself. And if he's made any mistakes, we've not seen them in the broadcast. And with that 8-second gap to Hamby, I don't think he's made too many of any note.
No, to be honest, I think he's just been efficiently great. I think that's the thing. He worked his way through traffic. He's not made any silly mistakes there. However, he does run a little bit wide coming out of Marmaduke as he goes down in Barge now. Got 8.3 over Hamby. Hamby's opened up 2 seconds over Dion. There goes Elliott, through he goes. What's happening with Parker Hamilton and Laxton? The draft had closed it up a bit here. It's going to be really close if this is going to be the final lap, or we're going to be on one more. They've got 1:30, and for Elliott at the moment, he's coming off through Pouon, so he's still got half the circuit to go. So we'll keep an eye out, because this is going to be very, very close here, whether or not we get one more lap in, Edward.
Yeah, it certainly is. I'm sure Elliott is having a great time out there. I'm sure he'd love to do another lap. I think there are other people like Laxton who can't wait for the race to end. With Parker Hamilton getting that massive straight line speed advantage. It's a sort of situation where if Laxton gets held up, then he could well be at the mercy. Is there a rare error from Jacob Elliott just going a little bit off track then at Paul Frere corner? But that won't hinder him in the slightest then. Still got 48 seconds then to start the next lap. I think I'm pretty confident he's going to be able to do that.
Yeah, do you know the interesting thing for me would have been taking this lap a lot slower than the others and maybe trying to make this the final lap. I think he's going to cross the line with about 26 seconds. There's the line, 26 on the clock. Barney is waving, the white flag is out, and now it's the final lap for Elliott Bastarash and Lovings. There, Lovings has just got past Bastarash. He has, as the Bastarash in that BMW loses that 8th place, but it's not done yet. We've got Lovings, Bastarash and Modric. These 3 cars are going to be scrapping it out for the final lap here. Let's not hope we don't want any dramas on the final lap. I think that's the thing. They've done so well for the last 40 minutes. They don't really want to get it all wrong as they're going on to the final lap.
Oh, and a move from Modric up the inside, using the draft to his advantage there. So great opportunism there from the Porsche driver, and that's really caught Bastarash out actually. So he's lost 2 positions in quick succession. Bradley Lovings with another unconventional move as the checkered flag now comes out. But of course, the race leader yet to cross the line.
We have Lovings there as well. Good, takes a very he's made a mistake coming out of the source really. Is now on the run through this El Rouge and Radion complex, of course, down there. That's not going to help there. I can guarantee Bastarash is sitting there thinking, I don't want to well with this. Modric saves it for the last lap, but to make moves after we're used to him seeing people overtaking him, he's now on a bit of a mission on the final lap to try and scrap with Lovings here as well. Is he going to send it up the inside of Lacombe? He's not. Your leader's on their way round Paul Ferrer. We'll keep an eye on him as we'll see him come over the line. But for Elliott, it's just been an absolute unstoppable force here on this Sunday morning for these guys. He's done an absolutely stellar job once more and is leading the way by a country mile at 7 seconds. But these guys are not here. They're still battling out as well. What do we reckon? Blanchimont for any one of these down into the bus stop?
I think Bradley Lovings has got it. I think that was Modric's best chance. And you saw Bradley Lovings thought about getting defensive, then went straight back to the racing line then. So he knew he had Modric covered there.
He did. Got about 8 attempts. We've got Elliott now coming into the bus stop. He's going to be coming over the line for Elliott, the man who's won both races. Cruise to victory, comes over the line and does an absolute stellar job. Takes the win there as well. An incredible job from him. As we see now, Hamby comes over the line as well. One of the back markers, and Dion has finished. That was Sawyer there. What about
Parker
Laxton?
Hamilton gets Laxton.
Yeah, Parker Hamilton got Laxton as well. That BMW is not helping. You are not helping the situation. Oh, dude.
Parker Hamilton.
Oh, he's letting through.
Back through. That is surprising. So Parker Hamilton, clearly there was a bit before that we didn't see where the BMW held up. Laxton allowed Parker Hamilton through, and Parker Hamilton deciding, there we go, it was at Blanchimont. That was a terrible place to catch him as well. I don't think there was anything the BMW could really have done about that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not sure who that is. Who is that in the BMW? That's Eisenberg, right? For me, now, I'm very pedantic on blue flags. It drives me absolute crazy. Now, if we go back a little bit more, for me, he's got all of this straight to let them through. He's got the wide line. Doesn't need to be doing this. No. Don't need to be doing that. He's got the whole straight. If we go back, and I hate doing this, but I'll show you what I mean from this perspective here. Right? He's got all of this straight to allow him through. So he spun, right? Which is fine, but there's no need to do anything now. You know, you've got these guys coming behind. We're going to see Laxton and Parker Hamilton. There they are in the background. Lift off. Just lift now. You don't need to be trying to race them in. Lift. Let them through. You've gone off track. You're causing a problem.
I don't think he saw them in time.
He's got a relative.
He
must have a relative. Surely. You get me on my blue flag rant, mate, and we're going to be in deep trouble here. We could be here for quite a while, but let's not get onto that one. But I think that could have been done in a lot of a better way there as well. Let's bring you up the results.
Good thing Parker Hamilton was so sporting then.
Yeah, basically. They're not going to, to be honest. Jacob Elliott is your winner with Johnny Habby in second, Michael Dion in third, David Van Roy in fourth. Then we've got Justin Laxton in fifth, who was given the place by Stephen Parker Hamilton now after a back marker finally decided to impede a little bit. Kevin Adrian in seventh, Bradley Lovins in eighth, Rick Modric in ninth, who did gain 1% place there as well, so well done, Rick. And Michael Chaplin in 10th, John Ouellette in 11th, Brian Dudkowski in 12th, Sean Bastarash in 13th, Eve Ollinger in 14th, with Scott Carlson down in Skylar Sixton 16th, Alan Purser in 17th, and then Jonathan Williams is in final 18. Bill Backer and Anthony Carboni Jr. round out the top 20 with James Sawyer there in 21st, Eisenberg in 22nd, Jason Siak in 23rd, Cole Modric in 24th, Cliff Correview Jr. at 25th, Robert Hadley down in 26th with Justin Cook in 27th, Felipe De Cruz in 28th, Daniel Skew, he's had more accidents this one than I'm sure he probably cares to imagine, in 29th, with Lang in 30th. Then we got Huff, Diggs, Gonzalez, Gainzel and Wolf rounding it out there as well. We've got a couple of drivers in for an interview. Let's start with, I tell you what, we'll have a chat to one Michael Dion here. He took a second place in race one. He's taken a third in race 2. He had to defend like an absolute trooper in race 1. But let's see how he is. Michael, welcome in. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Getting the heart rate down, but yeah, doing good. I had to defend like my life depended on it. So yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, you defended like an absolute trooper over Van Roy in the first race. Couldn't quite hold Hamby back. Made a mistake, and that allowed Hamby to come through in race 2.
Yeah, exactly. I in the heat race there with David, I took the position that defense is the best offense to keep P2 there, and that worked out well. But yeah, Johnny was just way too quick for me. Once I made that mistake, there was no chance. So it was just hold on tight for P3, and it worked out in the end.
Yeah, it definitely did, and I think you got to be happy with how your day's gone, right? Because you've taken points here. You've done a great job. You got 29 in race 1. You've got 56, in race 2, plus the extra point. That's not a bad start to the season.
No, it's a good way to kick this series off, and I look forward to seeing what next week brings and how I can build on that and run for the championship.
What do you think you're going to be able to do in the championship? Think you'll be able to take the victory? Think you can keep up with the likes of Elliott and Van Roy? They're quick.
Yeah, they're very fast. These Team 53 guys are next level. Johnny, who came in P2, he's also at another level. But with some time and some practice, and I think I can compete.
Very well. We look forward to seeing how you get on here as well. Michael, thanks so much for joining us there, buddy. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go here this morning for you, this afternoon?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out actually to the Old Guy Racing League admin team and leadership team. They do a real good job in putting all of this together and keeping the train moving forward, and I really appreciate them.
Well, thank you so much for joining us there, Michael, and we'll look forward to seeing what you get done across the season.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Now we're going to have a chat with Johnny Hamby here as well. He finished in 4th in race 1, just misses out on the podium. Then he makes up for it in race 2, where he does finish 2nd. But let's see how he's feeling. Johnny, welcome in, dear sir. How are you?
Doing great. How are y'all?
I'm very well, thank you very much, mate. I'm not too bad at all, considering I've just watched some great frees. I've just seen you in a Lego livery. That's made me affectionate puppy. You've done a great job, right? You've got to enjoy that one.
Absolutely. Jacob and David as well. David had a mistake, but those guys have so much pace. It's so hard to keep up with them. If I'd have stayed in the draft, probably, but fighting through with Philippe and Michael, there was no way I was going to run Jacob down. But hell, I'll take it all day.
Yeah, I think you've got to be happy with the start, right? The main start of a season is just getting points on the board. And that's the thing. You locked, 27 in race 1, 59 in race 2. That isn't a bad start at all. That's a good platform to build on for the season.
Absolutely. You're right. Points your way through the whole season, and it's a great start. Looking forward to the rest of it. I really appreciate Bradley and Sean putting this series on. It looks like it's going to be a great season, and I really appreciate you guys calling it for us.
Yeah, it's been an eventful day. I'm great fun here, to be honest with you, on a Saturday afternoon for us. What's the plans for you going forward? You say you're not quick enough to obviously keep up with Elliott and Michael and Van Roy. So are you looking at a 4th, or are we going to see Johnny Hamby really putting himself up there and looking for the top 3?
Well, as far as road racing goes, GT3s have been my weak point. I'm more of a high downforce open wheel guy, but that's why I run these things, to get better, and I feel like I will improve over the season. I feel like there's a couple of tracks I'm going to be pretty strong at. So yeah, I'm not throwing the hat in and just calling it 3rd or 4th. But for now, our practice race last week and today, I'm just a little off from those guys, but I'm close.
This as well, and a great job today. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go, young sir?
Hey, everybody watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was a good show. And shout out to my wife for letting me play on Sunday mornings.
Oh, I do love the fact that you have a wife. It does guarantee that you get to sleep in the bed on a Sunday night, doesn't it? I mean, don't thank the wife. You end up on the sofa. I mean,
I'm not the smartest man in the world, but I'm not the dumbest either.
no, happy wife, happy life, Johnny. I do feel you, mate. I feel you on that one. But take care, buddy. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
Cheers, Johnny.
All right, next up, we will have a chat with the man who has been the unstoppable force, the immovable object. Went into Le Source in race 1. He sent it 3 wide with as brave can be. He ran away. He took the victory. Race 2, he was on a Sunday morning drive. He just cruised around there, absolutely winning by 7.6 seconds. I've made it sound easy. I'm sure it wasn't. What does Jacob think? Jacob, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
Doing pretty good. I appreciate the broadcast, guys.
No worries, bud. I've had great fun. I've just watched you go on a Sunday morning drive, chill, drink some coffee on the way round, eat a donut or croissant or something. Come on. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was really fun. Trust me, it definitely wasn't easy. Put a lot of time in. Had the help from the Team 53 guys and the OGRL guys, but definitely a lot of time put into this win, and it's going to be a fun season.
Yeah, I think so. You have literally taken 90 points, maybe 94 points, actually. You've got the maximum with the fastest lap in the feature. You've got the maximum on the points wins. What else is there for you to achieve this season? What's the plan for you? Because clearly you're quick, clearly you're at the front, clearly you're very, very speedy. So are you already setting your eyes on the championship thinking, do you know what? I can do this?
No, there's some fast guys in here. A couple guys to keep your eye on. David, Michael, Johnny, a lot of really fast dudes behind me. But big thing is for me to just stay consistent, stay out of my own head, and just keep 4 tires on the track.
I think that's the thing as well. And managing them back markers as well is always a difficult scenario. I think for you personally, you've done an absolutely incredible job here today. Bit hairy at the start in race 1, sending it right down into the source. That was a brave one.
Yeah, upon going back and looking at the replay, just looks like David got stuck in first gear. And, when you have 28 dudes behind you that are raring to go, you gotta do something. So I saw the inside open. It wasn't the optimal line, but it had to happen.
Yeah, I think that mate. You know what they say? Ayrton Senna once said, "You're not a racing driver as soon as you stop going for the gap," and the gap was there. You went for it and you took it there, buddy. So well done for you. Excellent double victory. Maximum point score for you this afternoon or this morning for you. What? Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go, bud?
Yeah, just want to shout out Team 53 guys, my wife, Dancing Goat Distillery, Hopsign Cardano, Impel Motorsport, Gibson Welding and Fabricating, and Ryan Nardone Designs.
Awesome stuff. Well, Jacob, thank you so much for joining us there, buddy. And we look forward to seeing what you can do as the season goes on.
Awesome. Really good job on the broadcast, guys. Love it.
Thank you very much.
Cool.
Take care. All right, we've also got Daniel Skew in as well. Let's have a chat with the man who unfortunately had a little bit of a rough night here. Daniel, welcome in, sir. How are you?
Thank you. It was shit.
Language.
It was pure horrible.
It was a rough one for you, but if we can just, keep the language to a minimum, that would be ideal. We are live, obviously, as well. So, yeah, bit of a rough one in the Mercedes.
Terrible car for me. I just swapped it out for the Ferrari a couple of weeks ago. Thought, looking at the schedule, that the Ferrari is not going to be any good on tracks like Spa, Nürburgring, and whatnot. So I just thought, okay, maybe the Merc is good, because I've driven a lot of 24 hours in the Merc, especially around Spa, where it was a great car. But today it just couldn't. I don't know what. Everything went wrong. Nothing went right.
Was that due to setup?
Yeah, I had 2 setups. I started for the 10-minute sprint race or the heat race with our 24 hours our 24-hour setup, which was way too slow. And then I decided to swap around for the VRS endurance setup. But I think the VRS setup is set up for a drier and maybe a warmer track than the one we were racing on, because it was so slippery. It's like driving on ice.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? As well, when you're in a car that definitely likes rotating its back end to the front, and it doesn't take a lot to do it. I think you've almost got to treat it like a lady. You've got to be very gentle with it. You've got to brake early, let it run. Just keep it nice and straightforward. And if it doesn't match your driving style, you're going to end up with the race that you've just ended up with.
Yeah, and there's still 11 more races.
You'll be all right, mate. Get some practice out there as well. You'll be fine. Daniel, thank you so much for joining us here, buddy. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
The Zero Heroes, the Discord for or the Hero to Zero as I went.
Yes.
Yeah, I was saying that in the podcast too, Daniel.
Edward, did you bring it up? Yes, he was like, that's kind of
unfortunate name.
Yeah.
Given that the car's facing backwards being crashed into at Pouhon. That was a scary way to end the race, sadly, wasn't it, Daniel?
Yeah, and I thought, okay, I'm just gonna hold the brake here because I knew there were cars coming flying, and I knew if I started to back up the car, they probably, or if I were driving around Pouhon and someone was holding in the middle of the track, I'd go to the inside or the outside. So I'ma just stamp the brake and then just pray, and both cars hit me. So yeah, I'm sorry to anyone that ended up in that crash.
Well, there you go, buddy. No worries. Thank you so much. Let's see how you get on for the rest of the season, mate. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.
Cheers, Daniel.
Apologies there if anyone got slightly offended by the language there as well. Drivers adrenaline and racing as well. Unfortunately, can't control on that one. We don't have a delay and I don't have a beat button. So there we go. Okay, so the opening round, we got it off and running. Not a bad start to the season.
Yeah, we just got a comment in the chat from Trull Gaming DK who says curse away, but I think I'm not going to take that advice. But yeah, I think a great start to the season, James, especially for Jacob Elliott. But also, I think our friend Mr. In the Lego car actually had an amazing final there, beating Michael Dion and getting onto that second place. I thought that was also a very, very good drive and forcing Michael into a mistake there that was unexpected. And that fight in the midfield was very, very action packed. And like you said at the beginning, all those different cars led to such a sort of mixed up field. So many drivers trying to make the best use of their cars. The Audi being so quick down the straight, the BMW being better over the bumps, and then the Porsche just doing Porsche things. So long may it continue for the rest of the season. Can't wait until Red Bull Ring next week.
Yeah, let's hope the Porsche doesn't try and kill people on the way through. Right, guys, that's going to round it out here as well. Thank you so much for everybody who's joined me for this fabulous GT race, which I think you got absolutely amazing. Jake Elliott taking back points there all the way through. Michael Dion scoring points. Then Roy Hamby. It's going to be an interesting season. Stick with us. We've got a lot more racing coming up on the JPB channel very shortly in about an hour and 20 minutes time. Got the iFormula F3, then after that we got pole position racing F1, and then after that we got the IGP F3. So if you've got nothing to do on a Sunday morning and you want to watch great action and great racing and listen to me waffle on here, stay tuned for this one. Hit the like, subscribe, turn on the bells. It's going to be absolutely amazing. But I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Edward Hunter here this evening as well. And for now, guys, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, I see you on the track sometime. Good night.